I begged my mom to buy me a guitar. I'll only buy you a guitar if you promise to take lessons for at least a year. Theory is like something that isn't necessary, but it does give you like a little bit more insight into music. I would sing like just a melody that would pop into my head. I kind of see music the same way. Like songs I record in the morning versus nighttime could have a different vibe, even if like the lyrics were the same. Maybe the production's different, or the delivery, like the vocal delivery, could be completely different. I just dropped a 3-track EP called What I Deserve. Now I'm just focused on like visuals for What I Deserve. Blah 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 is actually the title of the EP, but the track that like everybody gravitates towards is like the track 3, and it's blah 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 blah. Summarize the rewards for unknown creatives for my campaign for the Blah 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 EP. We have the $5 Polaroid signed. Then at $20 we have the frame CD, and that is playable. So if you want to smash the glass of the frame, play that on a CD player, then you're good. And then we have $40 for the t-shirt, Blah logo on the front. On the back we got the waveforms for each of the tracks and a little signature on the bottom corner. And $100 would invest into the songwriting, and you would see royalties back from that. So if you want to invest now, it's probably the best time, because if the song blows up and then you want to invest, then you'll be too late, like Bitcoin. It's not bad. It's alright. Yeah.
What's stopping it from being like a good day?
I think once we get this done and completed, then there will be like something checked off. I'll feel better.
Was this like one of those things that just kind of fucks up your day? Because you're like, fuck, I gotta do this?
Nah, not really. Like, we've been planning this for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks almost. Yeah.
What makes it worse?
Because we had to reschedule, that was the thing. So then,
First question, how much do you hate being here?
like 1 being like it's cool, and 10 being like I absolutely want to die.
10 being, yeah. 10 being we absolutely want to.
Maybe like 3. It's not, yeah, like it's not horrible. It's not bad. Yeah, he's got me drinking whiskey, so.
You don't normally drink whiskey?
I don't really drink that much, but sometimes. Yeah.
Are you a smoker?
Nah, man. I'm on my sober vibe. I just got this.
Did you vape before?
Yeah, like probably 4 years maybe.
Oh, okay. How long have you been sober? Everything else?
Well, not like completely sober, but I just choose not to really. Like I try to just keep it like sober vibes unless I'm trying to catch a different motion, you know? So
What would that different motion be?
like maybe in the studio. Cause for example, I don't know, artists could probably relate to this, or just any creative. Like let's say you're a painter. If you were to paint something in the morning, like a landscape in the morning, and you were to paint that same landscape at night, it would be different, right? Like the vibe of the painting, the color palette that you choose, everything's gonna be different. So I kind of see music the same way. Like songs I record in the morning versus nighttime could have a different vibe, even if like the lyrics were the same. Maybe the production's different, or the delivery, like the vocal delivery, could be completely different. So
So is that how you view drugs, like a different?
yeah, it's almost like a different like state of mind, right? So same with when you first wake up, you're in a different state of mind than when you're going to bed, because you just experience everything throughout the day. So I don't know, I kind of see it like that. If I want to change my frame of mind, then maybe I'll just tap into the whiskey or whatever. Like, I know some people probably like, yeah, that's stupid, but I don't know, that's just my way of thinking.
No, I like that. You ever like make music sober and go for a specific feeling?
Yeah, like I think when you make music sober, it's kind of, there's somewhat of a mask up, but I think you can approach it a little bit differently. And then I think when you have substance involved, maybe it taps into like a deeper, something you wouldn't really say if you were sober. So I don't know, I look at it differently. Like when I smoke in the studio, or if I'm recording and I smoke, like I won't make the best vocal deliveries that I would make if I was sober, but I'll say shit and I'll like come up with flows that I wouldn't come up with. So it kind of like opens up a new frame. Yeah.
Start like thinking less when you want.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the direction kind of changes. So I don't know.
Yeah. Is there a preference?
I would say I probably made like most of my music sober, but I think my best songs are probably but that's such a trap. Like I don't want to be like, oh, I have to ball up this spliff to make a hit. Like no, I've made like some crazy songs too, like completely dead sober. Some of my favorite songs I made like right when I woke up, and I just like had inspiration, like whether it was off a dream or some shit, and just like go right to it and just make some shit. Yeah.
Does it kind of feel like a shortcut if you're gonna like have to use drugs to?
Maybe, yeah.
You're in the studio for like 12 hours, 8 hours, you know, like after 4 hours or anything, you know, you want a different vibe.
Facts. Yeah, no, you can always change up the vibe, so.
Yeah. Are you very like intentional with how long you're in the studio, or is it just like, all right, if I have 5 minutes, I'll go and do it?
I mean, I try to record every day, but I spend a lot of time on my music. Like everybody brags about, oh, I made this track in 10 minutes, I made this track in 30 minutes, but like, bro, I'll be real, like I'll spend fucking 12 hours on one hook. Like I don't care. When I go into making a song, I'm like, bro, this song has to be good. Like I have to be able to listen to this on repeat for the rest of my life if I was like forced to, and not kill myself over that. So I'm just like, let me actually take my time with it, because in the past I had spent a lot of time just like pumping out music. I would make tracks, like bare minimum I would do like 3 songs a day, and to some people that's not crazy. Like they can do 3 songs in probably like an hour, right? But for me, it was like I was just getting the reps in, just getting comfortable on the mic and stuff. And then that was probably like during the peak of the pandemic. Once I did that, I was like, yeah, I can make a song now. I understand the structure, I understand how to approach it and everything. So now I'm just like, I want to make really good music. Like I want this shit to stand out from everything. So I'll really take my time.
Right. What do you got coming up?
Right now, so I just dropped a 3-track EP called What I Deserve. And just before that, because What I Deserve was a follow-up to a 3-track EP that I dropped in May. It was called Blah Blah Blah. And that was kind of like highly anticipated for like people in my circle, because I hadn't dropped any music for a long time due to like just legal stuff and copyright and everything. But then I finally released that. It got good reception, so I followed it up. Now I'm just focused on like visuals for What I Deserve, and then I want to do one more 3-track EP before the year's up, but we'll see. Like I want to focus on the visuals first. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I have shit in the vault, but it's like everything's just a step in, you know.
But blah blah and What I Deserve is like blowing up. Like you're getting recognized in so many Instagram pages. Like you just said, 20K streams.
Yeah, it's doing okay. I mean, I don't know. So I try to celebrate the small W's, but like I'm thinking way bigger, you know? Like yeah. Like 20K streams, don't get me wrong, like I'm obviously grateful that people like the music, but I know that like I can make music that could play on the radio in any country. Yeah.
Yes, great song. Yeah. And when it reaches to the right audience, okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of my focus right now, like, you know, working on visuals and then being able to use that to kind of market my music. So I would say.
Yeah, what are your goals?
For music in general?
For any goal that you have, I mean, I feel like people's goals are like super.
I mean, like one of my main goals of all time is like I really always wanted to buy my mom a house, bro. So if I could do that, then my life would be a success. If I can't, then I failed. Like it's really that. I could buy her like a house in Thailand or something. Airbnb in Thailand, mom. Yeah, like something. I know I can do it. So it's not like a outlandish goal for me. It's just like it takes time to get to the goals, right? So obviously you have stuff that you want to cover along the way, but exactly, like all those little milestones. And that's why sometimes it's hard for me to like think about the small milestones along the way, because I'm still thinking about the bigger goals. Like, okay, where am I be at in like a year or 5 years? Like what kind of deals am I gonna hash out and stuff like that. But I don't know. Along the way, like I still try to enjoy it, but it's just not in my frame of mind. Like I don't really be thinking about now. I'm thinking about like what I'm supposed to be doing. So
You find, I guess, in a way, like not being able to like. Do you feel like you can take in the process once you like finish the song? You can kind of sit back through everything, or you just completely on to the next.
I do be enjoying my music. Like I probably listen to my music more than anyone else. Even though my mom says she's my number one fan, like probably true, but I listen to my music like nonstop because the way I see it is like if I'm listening to what everyone else is doing, then like subconsciously I'm gonna be influenced by like all the sounds and the style that they're doing. So I'll still tune into what everybody's doing and I'll give it a listen. I enjoy music, of course, so but if I'm listening to music, I'm putting on my shit because I want to see like, okay, where am I going from here? Like how can I build on the sound that I've already started? So in terms of like being in the moment and stuff like that, maybe not right then and there. Like I might not play it back 100 times in the studio, but I'm gonna play it 100 times the day after. You know what I mean? So
Is that a negative thing for you to like accidentally or subconsciously be taking something from another artist, or do you see that as like part of the creative process?
I think it's inevitable because everything that you consume is gonna be like part of your influence and your experiences and stuff. But like I want to do my own thing, you know, like I want to paint my own picture. So as much as I can, I'll try to avoid copying or like taking too much influence from somebody else. Of course, I have artists that I love, but a lot of the times like music that I listen to that's not me is gonna be like outside of my genre. So I'll take stuff from them that maybe would be unorthodox to like other people. They wouldn't necessarily listen to like pop punk or like Imogen Heap or some random shit like Panic at the Disco. Like that's the shit that I be listening to a lot of the time just on my spare if I'm not listening to my own music. So
What are some of your biggest
inspirations? I have like artists that I listen to for inspiration and then artists I listen to because I just think they're great, but I try not to like replicate what they do. Like for example, I love Drake. He's like one of my favorite artists. The Weeknd, I love him. Tory Lanez, like all the Toronto legends, like guys that came from our city, and they just obviously paved a way for us to be able to do what we can. But I don't really listen to them on a daily basis. I have a lot of respect for what they did, but on a daily basis, if I want inspiration, I'm gonna listen to like Panic at the Disco or like fucking My Chemical Romance or some shit like that. Yeah, I mean, it's just like totally different than what I guess my genre would sound like it would be portrayed as, but that's like when you can create something really beautiful, is like when you're taking pieces of a bunch of different puzzles and making something out of it.
What is your genre?
Right now it's kind of like a subgenre. I guess they call it regalia, and then regalia has like a subgenre or a sister genre next to it, which is like Asian rock. They're both kind of like inspired by like old movies. They have like a lot of orchestra in it, big like anthemic music in a sense, very cinematic. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your goal for your music? Like, what do you want your music to do? You want it to be in fucking trailers and anthems?
I mean, that, like, this guy knows because his shit be in movies and trailers and everything. I can imagine that's probably a good feeling, no? Yeah, so I would.
You're on the other side of a crazy situation you have with the industry, and you have a lot of insight on like how cutthroat the industry can be.
Yeah.
Artists especially. So I want you to delve into that and like how has that affected how you move with your craft now in your career?
Yeah, like I just dealt with a lot of copyright stuff, and I mean I kind of look at it as a blessing on the other side because I learned so much, because going into it I didn't really know anything about like the business side of music. I just knew about the creative elements of music, but now like coming up from the other side, I kind of understand more about how labels work, how copyright works, like how you need an entertainment lawyer and stuff like that. All that stuff is important. So I mean, for independent artists, it's obviously difficult to a degree and it's very competitive, but you can be an independent artist and acquire the same things that like labels and distribution companies have, like all the tools and assets that they have, you can get that same shit. Like you just have to work a little bit harder to get access to it, and it might take a little bit longer, but
Build the right team.
yeah, having the right team, exactly. Like once you do that.
Could I ask, what are the copyright issues? We don't, of course, don't have to cut it out. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So I basically was making music with some other guys from the States, and this was like 2021, probably at the end of 2021, like leading into 2022. And I was gearing up to like drop my first project, like 13 tracks. Then a lot of those guys that I had been working with ended up getting signed. So their labels kind of came and they took their back catalog and copyrighted it. And me and those artists didn't really have any contracts because we were just working like, oh, you know, it is what it is kind of vibe. Like, we'll just make good music. So then I got hit with copyright strikes from their label because we had music out. So that kind of set me back, and I had to figure out like, okay, now I need to get a lawyer, need to like get myself in a better situation so I can release music again, because I was kind of like blackballed. Not really, but
Yeah. Why wouldn't the label want those songs though? Like,
well, I mean, I think they probably looked at it either from two angles, like maybe they didn't want to pay me for my part on the song, or they were just trying to rebrand those artists in a sense and just like, okay, we only want to keep up this certain music and take down the other stuff. So some of those songs are still out, but the label owns it from, you know, that artist. And then a bunch of the other songs either gotten taken down or just like copyright striked. So
And has that like affected you as an artist going forward? Probably going into the industry like thinking like, oh, I'm making music, this is all fun. Yeah, my God, these two artists now, they hit you with this shit, which is actually hard. Like Kendrick Lamar had situations with a bunch of independent artists and then slapped down and treated like shit, which is kind of a common theme for independent artists usually. So has that like affected you in a negative way, or you like kind of seeing the light in it?
I mean, at the time it did. Like I was pretty down bad, bro. I was like, holy, like, is this a sign to just stop? But like coming out on the other side, I think I learned way more than probably someone that hasn't gone through it. So I try to like share that with people in my close circle. I just let them know like the little tips and tricks that would probably protect them from having the same thing happen.
What would those be? Any kind of tips?
I mean, number one is like definitely having an entertainment lawyer. And then 2 is obviously having like some type of copyright protection. So there's a lot of ways to say that again.
could you elaborate on the entertainment lawyer and the copyright? Because
What
I feel like a lot of people
goes
don't
with it?
know that much about that.
Yeah, so I mean, for entertainment lawyer, you just want to find somebody obviously that you can work with and you trust. There's a lot in Toronto. Like Toronto's a pretty big scene for entertainment, so particularly music, you will be able to find one. I would say just reach out, email a bunch. You could just Google, literally. You can go on Google and just set up a meeting with each of them. It would be complimentary, you know, no charge kind of thing. And then you just, what do they provide specifically is they'll be able to give you legal advice, and also they'll be able to, how do you put that, like, say you do get into a situation with copyright, they'll be able to like fight for you in the regards where, like, if I was to reach out to a label and say, hey, this is my song and you guys copyright striked it, they're not really gonna care. Like, they're just gonna look at you and be like, oh, whatever, like, it's just Bob, like, who cares, bro? But if they get an email from a lawyer, like, they're opening that shit, bro. They're gonna like open that shit and reply. So it kind of just gives you a little bit more leverage, a little bit better of an angle when it comes to stuff like that. And then also, like, you know, working out contracts, because to a degree, nobody really cares about setting up producer contracts. Like, for example, if you're an artist, we have like stuff like BeatStars and Track Train where you can buy a beat, like a lease, and it will have paperwork that comes with it. But a lot of producers don't sell their beats on those platforms, so you would have to go to like their Instagram and DM them, and then they have to send Cash App or PayPal, and all these transactions are being done like kind of not under the table but behind the scenes. There's no like real paperwork, there's no legal contract. So like having a entertainment lawyer, they would be able to like set stuff up like that for you. So
No, that's really good.
yeah.
And like the whole like lawyer, like the beat copyright is like on the same topic. Like you can't really Like, I know YouTube Beats is a big thing.
Yeah, YouTube Beats is huge for sure.
Yeah, like, how do you get copyrighted on YouTube Beats? This is just curiosity.
Yeah.
Wait,
He needs to know all that stuff.
wait, so you're asking like how would you get the rights to?
Like, personally, or if I were to buy a beat, I would own the whole thing.
Yeah, so like what a lot of people would do is they would scroll through YouTube, they would search up like a specific kind of beat. They call that like type beats. So if you're an artist like, let's say you were an artist like Kendrick Lamar or something, and you wanted to find beats similar to that, you would search up, you know, Kendrick Lamar type beats. A bunch of options will pop up. You click on one, you find it. You're like, okay, I want to use this. Maybe you rap on it, everything. Like you have a whole song. Now you have to reach out to that producer, obviously, because he owns the rights to the beats. So if they don't have a beat store, like I was talking about, like Track Train or BeatStars, then you would just have to pay them, and they would have to just tell you that you can use the beat. But that's not, that doesn't really hold up in court too well. Like Instagram DMs is not really gonna hold up. Email is gonna get you a lot farther, but even still, it's better to just be like, okay, well, I have this producer agreement. If you want me to send this bread to you, then you sign this. Like, it's that simple. And the producer agreement will have everything from, you know, how you can use it. Can it be radio? Can it be live performances? Can it be music videos? All that kind of stuff. So
Do they get rights when you buy it too?
yeah. So when somebody makes any like art, they pretty much always gonna own the rights unless they outright sell it to you. So unless you buy like an exclusive, then I think even still they would own publishing, like 50% publishing rights to that. But I'm not a legal advisor, so yeah, I don't know. You have to hit up Sanderson Law to figure that.
But like, how hard is it to like be independent and navigate all this bullshit? And when you just want to make music for fun and like, you know, reach a bigger audience.
Yeah, I mean, it could be hard. I kind of got past the part of like just making music for fun, so I definitely look at it more like a business now, coming from the other side. But I still do have fun with it. It's just, you know, it's all a process, and you constantly are evolving, like not just creatively, but like you're learning so much that it's like, okay, where I'm at now and all the stuff and experiences I've been through, like I wouldn't be able to like give any legal advice like a couple years ago before all that stuff happened. I didn't even know there was such thing as an entertainment lawyer. Like I thought there was just lawyers and they just did whatever. Like the same guy you go for if you have a murder charge, just not the same guy you go to just now, man. Like it's a different guy. See, I didn't know any of that, bro. I thought like a lawyer was just a lawyer, but it's same as like a doctor. Like they have their specialty, so you need a guy that like specializes in the music, you know. So
Who's your guy?
Sanderson Law.
Paul Irvine, Sanderson Entertainment Law. Yeah. Paul is my guy, man. Yeah, we talk.
Is he expensive?
I think he's reasonable. He definitely gets paid what he should be paid. So he's good at his job and he has a lot of experience. Like their firm, they just specialize specifically in like entertainment. So they know their stuff, and especially when it comes to like Canadian and American, like the laws are slightly different when it comes to like copyright, and like entertainment law is a little bit different. Yeah, distribution, everything, like they're slightly different. So they're pretty knowledgeable on how to operate in both spaces. So
yeah. So how do you pay him? Is music your full-time income then?
Yeah, music is pretty much the main thing that I'm doing. Yeah. It took a while, but that's like, I mean, I had some setbacks obviously, but this is what I wanted to do for a long time. So
I think we should bring it back to your music.
Yeah.
Like, talk more about blah 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 and the EP you had and then the EP you have coming up. What I Deserve.
Yeah. So
What inspired blah blah blah.
blah blah blah.
Just shit talk.
I mean, okay, so first we got Clear the Record. So blah 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 is actually the title of the EP, but the track that like everybody gravitates towards is like the track 3, and it's blah 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 blah. So the EP is 3 blahs for the 3 tracks, and the other one is 5 blahs. So nah, we can't do 4, because the reason why I did it was because 3 was like 3 blahs for 3 tracks, right? So it's a 3-track EP. So I was like, okay, what could I title it? I was like originally thinking that I was gonna just title it one singular blah. I was like, nah, it's gotta be 3 tracks, 3 blahs, and then the main track, like the track 3 on there, is 5 blahs because I said it 5 times, so it makes sense.
No, but the whole reason for the 5 blahs, or like the blah blah song, you want to tell them?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so every single song there, like my creative process to making music is kind of weird. Like I'll write music without like any instrumentation. I'll just like write stuff that pops into my head randomly. So sometimes it's just like 4 lines of a song, sometimes it's like 8, whatever the case is. I wrote each one of those 3 tracks in a different place. So Fishbowl I did in Vancouver, like I wrote the structure for that in Vancouver. And then Currency, which is track 2, I did in Japan, and blah 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 I did in Hong Kong.
Shit's international right now.
Yeah.
Not a drug.
So I just had like just inspiration from each of those places, and just like the experiences I was going through at that time. I just try to like translate it into the music. So I would write down whatever like I was doing or seeing, try to come up with like creative ways to say that, and then I ended up putting it into the music.
Yeah, I just love your description at the Unknown Creative launch party for Blah Blah before you performed the song.
Yeah.
That was the best.
Oh yeah. I just said something like, everybody knows somebody that just keeps talking. You know.
But then you titled it Blah 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 because you're talking.
Yeah,
This is your time to talk.
exactly. And just so you know, the 3 tracks was just like me just spilling that shit, you know. So I don't know, like it's hard to explain my creative process when I approach music, because I haven't really found too many people that have the exact same process, because I try to blend all the different things that I've learned. Like I never just, everybody's so big in punching in. So if you don't know what punching in is, most people should, if they're like people that create music. But if you don't make music, punching in is basically you record one line and then you let the beat play and you think of the next line. You're not writing anything down. Like you're just saying exactly what comes to your mind at that time. It's almost like freestyling, but it's just line by line. So you're just punching in one line at a time. So I'll use that method. I'll use freestyling. I'll use writing. Like I'll mix them all together, and that's kind of like the main process. But it's not even a main process, because like all 3 of them can like work together. So
And it's just whatever you like feel when you get to the studio. It's
Exactly.
Like you want to pick a pen or
yeah,
fish on the mic. Is there anything you kind of lean to more for a more authentic feel?
not really. Like it just depends, whatever the vibe is. Like if I'm about to record a song, I'm just kind of like hearing the instrumentation, and then if I hear like a melody for it, then I just want to like record that melody, because I'm like, okay, this melody will work well with this production. So maybe there's no lyrics yet, it's just me like humming a melody, and then the lyrics can be punched in after, or the lyrics can be wrote after. Like I can write lyrics to that melody. Sometimes it's like you hear a beat or you hear some instrumentation, you're like, yo, I have like a hook that would work perfectly for this. Or you just scroll the note and you're like, yo, this is like the perfect cadence for this. So it's just whatever the process is. I never limit myself. Like if somebody says, okay, try this, I'm just gonna try it. If it turns out good, I'm like, hell yeah. If it turns out ass, it's like, bro, you have 10 different other methods you can do to like make it sound good.
It's very big to like get out of the way of the process. That's kind of what you're emulating.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's huge. Do you like have lyrics before you go in sometimes? Like,
I mean, I did another interview, and I like briefly like scrolled through my notes of lyrics, and the note is so long on my phone that it starts lagging while you're scrolling through. Like if I say I wrote my songs, nobody would necessarily think that, because I'm not like super lyrical miracle or whatever. But there's substance, bro. I promise you. Like what Casey was saying earlier. Like, sure, maybe at first listen, like blah 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 doesn't sound like anything, but there's a whole intro part to the song with like lyrics that I actually wrote like while I was like outside in the fucking rain in Hong Kong. Like like there's like some real shit in there. It's just you have to listen. So
Yeah. You got crazy international ties. Like, is this business? Is it family? Like you be out there. Like,
I like to travel, bro. I don't know, bro. Like I want to see the world, fam.
Yeah.
Like
But you're half Japanese, right?
I mean, so basically how it works is when I was in high school, or even before high school actually, when I was in elementary school, we used to host like exchange students from Japan. So then I started like getting more tapped in with the Japanese culture, anime, the language. Like they would teach me some bad words and I would teach them bad words, right? But they're like my brothers. Like at that time, they're like older than me. They're in high school and I'm in elementary school. So like I'm in 8th grade and I'm like looking up to these guys. So obviously they had a lot of influence on me. They're showing me like shows and different things, like different fashion sense that they have over there. They're showing me all like the stuff in their culture. And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. So it got to a point where just like I seen a lot of these people as my brothers and they saw me the same way, and like they would come back and visit me and I would go over there and visit them. So it's just like extended family to a certain degree.
yeah. Are they artists too? To a degree? Except you.
No, I mean, these are people that I met when I was just in school. So some of them like they are creative, like some of them play guitar, some of them like do photography. Others are, you know, they're just working. They're just businessmen. They're just doing the Japanese lifestyle, whatever.
How often would they stay with you?
So they would stay for like maybe a semester or however long. I think it just depends on how long the program was for like the high school, because like the schools will have like some type of partnership or whatever. So some students will go there and some students will come here, kind of thing.
And how many different people did your parents like do this with? Like, how many?
A lot, like probably over 20.
I went
Yeah.
to Laurier, my university, like just for the foreign exchange program.
Yeah.
It was also it was top 3 best business school. But the reason why I chose that one was for the foreign exchange program. Then I dropped out.
I mean, you get so much experience from traveling. It's like
How is it in, like, talk about like music, making music in fucking Hong Kong while it's fucking raining? Bro.
I mean, I didn't actually get to make any music while I was there, but I did write lyrics, and I connected with a lot of creative people, like different people who are in fashion, different people who are like in the modeling scene and stuff like that. But
how cool is it, like, getting that experience from traveling and with your music?
that's like an invaluable experience. You can't really like say no, like it's
We
just
have this inside joke that like one A&R from LA told us one time.
Yeah.
When we first went out, like he took us up to the club and he's like, whatever that you're experiencing right now, rap about it.
facts.
And then we made fun of it for like 6 months, you know, because he was rapping about it, of course.
Yeah.
But then we were like traveling again. And it's like, yeah, this is the best advice ever.
Exactly. So now that I'm looking at it, because I know I said earlier when we were talking about like substance and stuff like that, I don't even think it's the substance maybe that created those really great pieces of work. I think it was actually just like the experience that I had, and just like traveling somewhere and then coming back and being able to like share those experiences.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the substance at the end of the day. It's like what's inside of you. I guess the substance, colors.
Yeah.
It's the filter that is put on it, but yeah. What's your favorite drill?
Nah, yo, my mom might watch this, bro. No, I mean,
After you went on the pill,
I was about
like, which one puts you in that state?
nah,
We'll bleep it out.
I mean,
Heroin.
yeah, like they all have their own like kind of sauce, you know. So I'm not gonna pick a favorite, because if I do pick a favorite, then I might double down on that. So yeah, exactly. So I'll just stick to the Geek Bar, bro.
I'll actually email Geek Bar.
But yeah,
What do you think about like that like idea that artists need, like a lot of people like say like, oh, but you need weed to like make music and shit. Like, what do you?
I mean, no, you don't need anything. You just need a microphone, probably, and a beat. But like, everybody's different, so I'm not gonna like look at somebody's workflow and be like, oh, that's crazy for you doing that, because people would do the same to mine. Like, oh, you're writing a song with no beat, like, what are you doing? Like, you're just writing a nursery rhyme at that point. Like, but I don't know. Yeah, you're just writing poetry at that point. But I don't know, I just don't want to be dependent on anything. I just want to have like the ability to make music in any frame, so whatever it comes down to. But I did want to talk about the Blah 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 EP and like the connection between What I Deserve to Blah Blah Blah, because I don't know if you saw the cover for the Blah 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 EP and like the way that we came about that. So it's like me with a blank face in a library and with the megaphone next to my head. Like, there's a lot of contrast, because obviously like you're not gonna have a megaphone in the library for any reason ever, but it just like paints a specific picture. Yeah, I was locked in, bro. They're shooting the shots and they're like, nah, like you gotta have more of a blah expression, like you look too mad, and I'm like, bro, that's just my face. Like, they're like, nah, you gotta have a blank expression, like. So we got that. More blah. And then like I really wanted to follow it up, because like it got really good reception, and so we did What I Deserve, and that cover is kind of like me in what a library would look like if it was like somebody set a bomb off in there or something. So there's like books all over the ground, like there's fire, like embers or whatever you want to call that, and it's me with the megaphone, and I'm just like in the ashes, in the rubble. Yeah, I know. You know when they say that you're gonna blow the roof off. It's like,
like, where'd you get all the books and like how'd you do the photo shoot? I know.
Yeah, no.
Where do you get books?
No, we really blew the library up, bro. Like, we actually blew that shit up, bro. Yeah, like, yeah. No, the library was about to close. We said we can help you with the demolition. But no, I had like my mom. She had like a bunch of boxes of books, just like kind of like, I don't know, some of them were keepsakes, so we were going through them and we were like, okay, which book do you not care about versus which book is like, okay, I can't burn this. Like, so we were going through a bunch of boxes, and then we got like a huge box of books, and then we took it to a place where it was like just the right setting already, you know. They were already doing construction there, demolition, so we set up, you know, the book frame kind of thing, and then threw the books down on the ground. It already had like that vibe to it that we were going for.
What's the next cover gonna be like?
I thought about it. I thought about the next one. What am I gonna blow? Yeah, so for the next one, like, I had been thinking about it, and this was, I mean, I thought about it, and the EP is gonna be titled By Any Means, but like, I don't really know. I have like ideas in my head about how I want it to look, but I'm not too sure yet. I want there to be some type of contrast between like light and dark, so it's kind of like you have that melancholy cover with the blah, and then with Deserve you have like that destruction, and then you have like the transition of coming out of that into like something better. So
Talk about What I Deserve.
yeah,
Deserve a lot.
Yeah, no, facts.
Horrible shit.
No, for real. Like, when I came up with the EP title, like, I had a lot of different ideas in mind, but then I was just like, it has to be this one. It has to be What I Deserve. Like, because I just feel like I'm putting like everything out there, and like I know what I'm supposed to get back, but it's just consistency and persistence to be able to get there. But in terms of the actual music, it's kind of just building off of the sound that I was already, you know, doing on blah blah blah, just like elevating that sound to a degree. I know people still, they love blah 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 blah, like everybody's always gonna love that song, but I genuinely do feel like I elevated that sound and built off of it on the follow-up, and I'm gonna do that again with By Any Means. So by any means I'm gonna do that. I promise. I mean, I didn't even really say my name, so yeah. If they watch this far.
What's your name? Wait, we need silence. What's your name?
So my artist name is Damn Drone, and there's a lot of backstory to it, and I've given bits here and there, and I'm never gonna give the full description until the time's right, but that has been, there has to be, I'm gonna give you some. Like, there was this game that I used to play, it was called Gears of War, and there was a character called Drone in there, and like, I don't know why, he was like the default character on the enemy team, so nobody fucked with him, but I was just like, yo, I fuck with him because nobody picks him, so I'ma just pick him because like, and then that was just my thing, like everybody just started calling me Drone. And now, like, people use drone as a bad thing, but the way I always looked at it was, like, we're all kind of drones, bro. Like, this whole Matrix shit, and, like, we're all just doing what we're trying to do to, like, elevate, to escape the Matrix or whatever. So, I don't know. And in my work ethic, fam, I'm a robot.
Damn, that's where the damn came from.
That's where, exactly. That's where the damn came from. No, facts. Nah, the damn is just like, you know, it's just like, holy, like, he's certified. This is the one. So. Damn.
Did we ask like how'd you start making music? Like, how'd you start making music?
The whole educational bit on the whole.
Yeah, they was asking me like they was asking me all the business questions, like all the legal advice. I mean,
You gotta let people know about this, bro. He was speaking fast.
Nah, I said this a bunch of times. Like, I begged my mom to buy me a guitar when I was in like 2nd grade, and she was like, I'll only buy you a guitar if you promise to take lessons for at least a year. And then I took lessons for like 8 years or some shit. So that was like how I first started getting into music. And then like from that point, I would like play guitar in church sometimes. I would play drums in church sometimes. I will always like sing my own melodies. In the shower, everybody loves singing, bro. Like, don't lie and say you've never sang in the shower, because I know you're lying. Everyone sings, but most people sing like a song that they like. I would sing like just a melody that would pop into my head. So I started like writing my own music well before I.
When you were 10 years old, you were just singing melodies.
Yeah, bro. Like, I would just sing my own melodies. I'm sure some of them were like melodies from another song, but I would like sing my own lyrics to that same melody. And some of them I'm sure were original melodies. But I would just like be singing that shit in the shower. Like, so that.
Still have that guitar?
Hell yeah. I still got that guitar. I still got that. Yeah. I pick up the guitar once in a while, but it's not really my passion anymore. Like, obviously I shifted over more to like doing vocals, but.
You were telling Casey about producing.
Mhm.
And then how'd you get into producing after guitar?
I mean, I guess like guitar just helps with knowing music theory. So, yeah, I think theory is like something that isn't necessary, but it does give you like a little bit more insight into music. You might have a different approach, because obviously people can paint just from painting. Like, you don't need to go to art class to learn how to paint. You could just pick up a thing and start painting and get good at it if you do it enough. But knowing like why certain things work, or like how certain things will go well together, that can give you an advantage, I think.
Keeps in the room, especially because it opens up and you having your own not your own, you having this vocabulary, this resources, and this references.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, you don't need to. I love that you said that. You don't need to go to these schools or these parts to have that. That's like what, like getting off of you. It's just like experience and stuff like that, and it's the knowledge will come to you, and just like that puts it together in the passion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, facts. And I mean, even to build off of that too, like there's so many resources to learn now, bro. Like you could pull up YouTube and you can learn music theory. And of course, like the thing is everyone learns differently. So some people might learn better if they have like an actual music instructor and they're like learning the instrument with that person right there. But some people are like, yo, like I could just pull up YouTube and I can just emulate what they're doing on the screen. I could do it right here. So I don't know. I never try to limit myself, bro. Like I'll just try to do whatever. Like if I want to learn something, I'll try to seek it out or maybe ask somebody I know. Like for example, Ox, like he's an amazing producer, amazing engineer. Shout out Ox, bro. Ox is the GOAT. He is my number one GOAT. He's literally the guy that I started like this whole journey with. So, but if I ever have like stuff that I want to learn and I know he knows it, then I'm gonna be like, yo, help me out with this. And then he's gonna like point me in the right direction. Then I'll take it on my own hands. I'll be like, okay, let me pull up like a tutorial or something. I'll learn like a little 1-2 extra. So
If you have the skills, you can play around with your voice however you like.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Experiment.
The foundation, you just need that.
What's your primary DAW that you use?
I use FL Studio. I also use Logic sometimes just to like track instrumentation. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get. No. We love all the DAWs, man. I don't hate on any DAW, bro. Like people be like, oh, you use BandLab, you use Audacity. Like I'm like, bro, like if that shit sounds hard, I don't even know what you made that in, bro. If I listen to that shit and it was fire, I don't even care. I'm gonna ask you how you made it. Like I'm not gonna ask about the DAW. Not saying that's a bad question, because like knowing what DAW people use kind of does sometimes show through the music.
Lots of the tutorials and like finding resources.
Yeah, exactly. So, but at the end of the day, bro, if the music sounds good, I don't care what DAW you use. I'm gonna ask you what plugins you use. I'm gonna ask you like how you approached making it. Like, did you write it? Did you freestyle, punch in, like the creative process first? So.
Did you shop around? Or did you just FL was like right?
Yeah.
That easy torrent.
No. Actually, when I first started, I had Logic because I think my computer when I bought it, or I didn't buy it, my mom bought it for me. My mom is the other GOAT.
Thank you for showing out your mom.
Yeah, no, the facts. I love my mom, bro. But she bought me that, and then I think it came with like Logic and maybe GarageBand, and it had some like presets and stuff like that. I was using that a bit, and then when I met Ox, and then he was using FL. So every time I would work with him, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna learn like one thing every session. I'm gonna learn like, okay, how do I record? And now I'm gonna learn like, how do I switch this to this? And how do I add this preset on? And like, how do I put these plugins on? So I was just learning like one thing every single day, one hotkey or like one plugin every single session. And then like no time goes by and you're like, okay, let me try. And you're like, oh shit, I kind of know how to do this now. Or like he leaves the room and I'm like, okay, I want to switch this. I'm like, yo, I kind of know how to do this. So it was just like a process of like seeing somebody who already knows what they're doing and just like emulating what they do. And then you just take that process and you're like, okay, what can I add to it that's myself?
Yeah. But what's your motivation? That's like trying all these things. Like I know it's to buy your mom a house, but every day waking up, you know? Like,
I mean, bro, like I said, I have melodies in my head, bro. They need to go somewhere. So they have to go somewhere. Like if not singing it in the shower. So I may as well at least record it. So.
I just was singing in front of 1,000 people.
There you go. There you go.
Facts, bro. You really gotta buy your mom the house.
Yeah.
It will happen.
It's gonna happen.
I'm gonna buy your mom.
Yeah, no, we're all gonna buy my mom a house, bro.
That could be one of the rewards.
Shout out.
Put it in an ETF, bro. Compound over time.
Facts.
Yeah, we'll invest it in the right place.
I believe.
Yeah.
You seem like a very like intentional person. How important is being intentional to your music? And I don't know. I feel like I would describe you as very intentional from what I've heard. Is that important to you? Is that an important part of your life?
I never really thought about that, honestly, but I think so. Like, to me, I guess I do have like some like self-conscious about what other people think about me. I'm not saying that like I let it affect me negatively, but I do always be thinking like, okay, well, what would this sound like to somebody else? Or like, what would this outfit, like, how am I going to be perceived if I wear this? Or stuff like that matters to me because, I don't know, like, when I was younger, I did witness, like, my dad get discriminated against, and, like, when I would be out with my mom and we would get judged because, obviously, like, I don't look like I'm her kid because she got blonde hair and blue eyes. I used to see, like, how people would look at people and just kind of judge them just off of perception, so I do keep that in mind, and that's why, like, I want to carry myself in a certain way that I feel like is best representing of how I want to be perceived. So I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a facade, but I would say that like I definitely want to be proper, and I definitely want to be intentional about like what I say and how I do things.
Yeah, I think it's very human to think about this. Having less artistic merit than like being super open and free. It's bullshit.
But you do hear about artists that just say like, oh, just be yourself. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but like you got to understand that being yourself, people will look at you in a certain way. So you have to be prepared for that as well. Like, I don't think that I'm not myself. Like when I listen to my music and I look at the way that I present myself on a social space or just even in person, I do feel like that's true to myself. But I just feel like I've prepared my own frame of mind to be like, okay, this is how people will perceive me, even if they're wrong. Like if someone looks at me, they're not gonna think like that I play guitar or something like that. They're probably gonna think something else, and that's totally fine. But when you get to actually talk with somebody, that's when you're gonna see like more depth into their character.
Yeah, like it's not like an obsession. This is something that's like, you know, I can't want to say colors your life, but it's it adds that layer of like, I'm choosing what the fuck I do, but I'm not obsessing over what the fuck I do.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
I like that.
We have the $5 Polaroid. What's the...
So to summarize the rewards for unknown creatives for my campaign for the blah 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 EP, we have the $5 Polaroid signed. Then at $20 we have the frame CD, and that is playable. So if you want to smash the glass of the frame, play that on a CD player, then you're good. And then we have $40 for the t-shirt, blah logo on the front. On the back, we got the waveforms for each of the tracks and a little signature on the bottom corner. And $100 would invest into the songwriting, and you would see royalties back from that. So if you want to invest now, it's probably the best time, because if the song blows up and then you want to invest, then you would be too late, like Bitcoin. Simply.
Beautiful.
Where do you get any of your inspiration from?
Yeah, so we did like, we talked about like influences a bit, and I was saying like some of my biggest influences would be like people outside of my genre. So I'll listen to like Panic at the Disco or My Chemical Romance, like I don't know, like metal, pop punk, Imogen Heap, like just different people that make different music, but I feel like the structure of the music is really good. I'll try to take inspiration from that. But I was saying as well, like, of course, like Drake, The Weeknd, Tory Lanez, like those are goats to me still. So
Anybody you take inspiration from for image?
when I was younger, like my mom put me into modeling, so I think I had a good sense of fashion from when I was like 10. But I don't know, maybe like Bloody Osiris. I think Cardi is like an easy one. Ultimately, like I'll scroll through like hundreds of pages of clothes and see stuff, and I'm like, that looks good on that person. Let me take like this piece of it and then like incorporate it into my own wardrobe and like wear it in my own sense.
Yeah. You have anything to say about the importance of image to artistry?
Like I was saying, your image is how you're gonna be perceived, right? So like whatever you put on, or like however you speak, like how you carry yourself is how people are gonna view you at first glance, like before they even hear your music, let's say. Like some people might hear your music before they see you, and vice versa. So you just want to be putting your best foot forward, like whatever that means to you. That could mean just like, you know, I just want to put on a white tee and some jeans because that's like what's true to myself and I think it looks clean. Other people is like, okay, I want to wear like something specific where it's like a little bit more flashy. I think I lean more towards that.
You thinking of like actually getting into fashion as like a designer, or like making a clothing brand?
I think I could do it, but right now, like, I'm just focused on music. But I think like when it comes down to it, I really would be good at that too. I think I would.
What are some of the brands you fuck with?
I think A-Leaks is definitely one of my top favorite brands right now. I really like Rick, ACW, A Cold Wall. They're fire. I say those are probably my top 3 right now.
Anyone you want to shout out that you like the clothing you got on right now?
Oh.
Brands you know? You got any A-Leaks on right now?
Yeah, this A-Leaks, Rick, and Young LA. Yeah. Shout out Unknown Creatives. Shout out Unknown Creatives. You better tap in, because if you don't, then everybody is going to say that you're not tapped in. And you don't want to not be tapped in. So just go tap in early, because like I was saying earlier, if you're not, then you're going to miss out on the next Bitcoin kind of thing. Peace.